I have never heard
They
of
get
that
extinct.
before.
They getting extinct.
Alright, so welcome to our podcast of the day. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Jasmine.
I'm Iski Romanopoulos.
Oh, Nico Tatopoulos?
Iski Romanopoulos.
Iski Romanopoulos.
Nico Tatopoulos, got it. Alright. The one from Godzilla.
Godira.
Good. Godzilla. Alright, well, we're talking about a movie that's like, I don't know, 20 years old now at this point.
Are you talking about the Matthew Broderick one?
Yeah. Like 10 years? What is that, 10, 15 years now?
The crocodile they had to go through New York City?
No, that was a iguana.
Yes.
Everybody knows it's an iguana.
So,
Alright, well, that leads us on to the topic of what we're going to talk about today. We are not talking about Star Wars, even though there is an ad above me. We're not talking about the West Coast sports debacle. We are talking about
disaster movies.
Disaster.
and Eli.
And we're talking about movies about natural or artificial disasters, not movies that are disasters, although a lot of disaster movies are also movies that are disasters.
That sounded scripted. Weird.
Yeah.
No, that's an original thought that I just came up with right now.
And
If my name's not, I swear on my name, Iski Romanopoulos, that was an unscripted event.
Right
So,
on.
to open the topic, I'd like to ask you both a question. In 97, 98, each year, two movies came out as a pair that were exactly the same. 97, it was...
Armageddon.
No, that was 98, I think. I think 97 was Dante's Peak Volcano.
Yeah, there you go.
98 was Deep Impact Armageddon. So I'll ask you this. You get to choose one for each pair. Which one's your favorite? Don't deliberate it. I just want an answer.
Out of what?
Which one do you like better? Dante's Peak or Volcano? Or Deep Impact and Armageddon? If you've seen them.
I haven't seen the first two, but the 98.
Well, I'll go ahead and give you my picks. It's Dante's Peak and Deep Impact.
I like Deep Impact as well.
Okay, I'm gonna say Dante's Peak and Armageddon.
Okay. Well, Dante's Peak is obvious for specific reasons.
You have to watch it.
Yeah, Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, Pierce Brosnan, essentially. It's really crazy.
It's a
I think
good
I have
movie.
seen that.
It's actually a good disaster movie.
It's probably got one of the longest actual disaster sequences because a lot of times it's just at the tail end of the movie.
True.
But this one, it's like the second half, the entirety of the second
Yeah,
half.
that is one of the slowest happening volcano eruptions I've seen in a movie.
Yeah.
That's kind of what but Dante's Peak was cool for kind of the similar reasons that 2012 was cool. It just painted a picture of something you couldn't see up close without dying. So, and that's kind of what all these disaster movies really are, if you think about it. We wouldn't live through an asteroidal impact.
No
Yeah.
way.
And that's why,
You would see it as a...
and then go into Deep Impact Armageddon. I like Deep Impact more because I think the acting is better.
Yeah.
Even though the science isn't perfect, it's definitely better than Armageddon in terms of realism.
But as far as people that are watching this, or the population, I think they would choose Armageddon.
A lot of people
I
give...
think they'd side with
It's
me on
what
that too,
most
yeah.
people have seen. A lot of people
Yeah,
haven't
Deep
seen
Impact is
Deep
kind of like
Impact.
the hipster...
Of 98?
Yeah.
Dude, so you just put yourself into the Deep Impact category of hipsters, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. I was like, wait a minute. Are you intentionally putting yourself into that group?
I mean,
Unfortunately for him.
I don't know. I've never been called out for being a hipster. I've heard people joke about me being hipster, but no one's ever been like, you're a hipster. People just are just like, oh, that's like a hipster thing to think.
So you're not wanting to be a hipster necessarily, you just live it.
Yeah, but that's really hipster. So I wouldn't want to say I just live whatever, I just do my
Okay.
thing, I guess.
Well, The reason why I pick Armageddon is because Bruce Willis.
Okay.
Dude, that guy's character in that movie is awesome.
But
Well,
is Bruce
in, like,
Willis's
any movie is
performance
pretty
enough
awesome.
to counteract the awfulness that is
Ben Affleck?
Ben Affleck's?
Yeah. Affleck?
Affleck.
Affleck.
Well, Ben Affleck was terrible, but the Russian dude in that movie, the cosmonaut,
Yeah.
like
Awesome.
he makes up for all of
Yeah,
that.
You know what's kind of interesting?
And the ex-wife joke, or his wife joke in the
Oh,
beginning of the
God.
movie
Yeah.
of Armageddon, where it's like, well, you get to name the meteor, and it's like, well, I'm gonna name it after my wife, because she's a hellfire B-word that has
Yeah.
no end on her. Like, I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen Armageddon too.
I like the payoff at the end of Deep Impact 2 where the astronauts like sacrifice themselves. Also, an interesting thing to think about is Elijah Woods is in Deep Impact, obviously, but Liv Tyler is in Armageddon. So it's kind of like a
I
Lord of the
love
Rings
Liv
battle.
Tyler. True.
Speaking of disasters, our attendance
Attendance.
at Sun Pass Studios.
I always thought, you know how they used in elementary school, they would have those attendance, what were they called?
Roll call.
There you go, roll call, yeah.
No, they had the assemblies to like celebrate people that had good attendance.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it was
An
less.
award ceremony.
It was less for the kids that got perfect attendance and more to like warn all the other
Shame.
shame all the other children that didn't have perfect attendance.
Shame bell.
Well, I felt like that at the end of high school, but then I realized, wait, you're idiots. You stayed at school the whole time.
I know.
That's
I was
terrible.
one of those.
You didn't get to live as a kid and get out of the house, like
I was
get out
one
of
of
school. You had perfect attendance all through school.
Yeah, because our parents wouldn't let us stay home.
What? You had a different experience.
Yeah, I did. I was a troublemaker, so I had to go to school through thick and thin unless I was throwing up.
I had good
Oh.
grades, so my parents, if I didn't want to go to school for whatever reason, they would just be like, all
Oh
right.
yeah, no, my
I
parents
didn't,
were
but
not cool with
my
that.
parents would make me work for it. So I know enough about ABC 7 daytime soaps because of my mom. I'm not even kidding you. I
I
could have
know
probably
some soap operas,
killed it
too.
from like, I don't know, 97 to 2005
Okay.
soap operas.
I got
Mine
to
would
watch.
be like 2005 to
when I stayed home,
2006.
It was
When you would get sick and you'd be stuck in mom's watching stupid
Oh,
soap
no.
operas at home. And
yeah, we had a stay-at-home
That was my
dad,
choice.
so we were watching like Judge Judy and like
Oh.
Cops,
Well, that.
Bernie Mac
But
show.
when I was homeschooled for a semester,
Never
I
Jerry
stayed at our
Springer, though, Amari.
grandparents' house, and all that was on during that time was the soap operas because it was
I never
daytime.
watched a soap
You didn't
opera in
have
my life.
cable. You didn't have all that
You
stuff.
never watched like All My Children or One Life to Live?
One Life
or
to
anything?
Live. Man, they suck you in.
General
and they
Hospital.
don't let go
Well,
of you.
what they
it's a
do,
really dark
they give
tunnel.
you this. All right, so this is what I want to do too. Is the same thing, like that, on episodic Star Wars and everything. But like, literally, all it is you're giving them a taste of one little dramatic sequence. So like in a scene in a soap opera, like it could literally be like you're saying hi to her.
Yeah.
And then I walk into the scene and it's like, oh my god,
Why
that's
is he
Fred. He
here?
came back from the dead
Oh my
and
God.
he was just
Cut scene.
blown up
Parents
in
in
a
a
car
different house.
accident.
Yeah, I totally get the
Having
concept
dinner,
of what you're saying, but to
Drinking
kind of
some
like
wine.
sum it up with what it is exactly, we'll do like 30-second soap operas. So you only have 30 seconds to like show what's going on in the
Oh
show.
god, alright.
We're doing that now?
No.
Oh, I was
Oh, I
like,
thought you were literally
like,
trying
in
to get us to
pauses?
do that right now. I
Well, we
was
could get
gonna
people on
try
it.
to
We could
go for
literally,
it.
we could film like
I would have probably gone more novellas. To
30.
be honest.
Okay.
Novellas. Just be like,
I don't know.
I have
4K!
seen. I don't know where I was at, but I was there for a while for some reason, and the only thing on was telenovelas on the Spanish channel. I don't know what happened. Like the show came on.
crazy.
It was normal. I mean, it was like, it was dramatic and there was stuff going on.
Man.
They showed like a minute and a half of it, and then it went to commercial for like 20 minutes.
And that's how they suck
That-
you in.
And it's
all the
for
drama,
housewives.
and they don't finish it.
No, it's literally set up for housewives so that they can
It's
do
drama.
chores around the house while they're
Yeah.
watching the show.
I was-
So like you have that long
Right.
commercial break, so you could go and
You
know,
can miss
change
a whole
your load.
episode and still be okay. You can miss a whole week
Well,
and still be
the first
okay.
half of
They
the
cut
episode-
back.
The first half of the episode, if you really think about it, is literally recapping.
Yes, exactly. They recap everything, and then they give you a sliver of like the forbidden fruit, and then they're like, "Wait till tomorrow."
And Chad just came back from another
To be
motorcycle
continued.
accident.
It's horrible.
So, yeah,
And
we're
they
gonna get
really
back
do,
to the
they suck
disaster
you in,
topic.
just
Yeah,
like
we
we're
can get
getting
back.
sucked
All right.
into this
Now,
topic.
well, we can continue this topic and then even go back into the other
Yeah.
one, and I'll cut all this into a different episode, like 2 different
Okay.
episodes.
So yeah, yeah. Now that we're done with talking about the 97-98 question, but anyways, moving on. Do you both consider Titanic a disaster movie?
That's a tough one.
Like, I don't care about your actual
Or,
opinion of the
or
film.
is that
what do you think the genre is?
Drama /
like historical drama?
not historical.
But would you even put disaster in there,
It's-
even in a
it's
hybrid genre
fantasy.
title?
Because that's just
Almost.
something that could happen any
fantasy
day.
historical?
Like technically, the Poseidon adventure or Poseidon is what it was called when they did the remake.
Yeah,
That I don't even consider a disaster movie either. I just think that's a drama that happens out
Yeah.
on the ocean because
Right.
it's like what do you call it? A perfect storm, right?
So
Those
good.
aren't disasters.
Such
Like
a
these
good
are like
movie.
cataclysmic events that are beyond all repair. Like this is
Right.
stuff that happens all the time.
Right.
So
so that's interesting that you guys both mentioned, because I only brought up Titanic. I see Titanic on most like top 10, top 25 disaster films lists, but I always see that movie, and I always see Poseidon Adventure, the original, no one likes the remake,
really,
and Perfect Storm.
Perfect Storm, I can see. Titanic is a disaster because the crew sucked. Okay.
no, it was a
I'm joking.
disaster because of
No.
Leonardo DiCaprio. I will
My
say,
heart.
I will say it to piss off the. Hey,
Whoa.
literally,
Disaster.
guy. What
Jackson,
are we doing?
stay in the room.
Where do we play?
Yeah.
Okay, and we're quiet.
Kids.
Speaking of disasters.
Oh my god.
I think the saddest thing I ever found out, because when I was like about to graduate high school and I was getting into film more as like a cinemaphile, I looked up a bunch of my favorite films just to see what like the real movie critics thought about them, and I came to the conclusion a lot of my favorite childhood films were considered like really bad movies at the time, and they're some of my favorite movies ever, like Mission to Mars,
Love Mission to Mars.
Bicentennial Man.
Love Bicentennial
That's a great
Man.
movie.
Critics,
People hate it.
they were critical failures.
I can see why with
Why?
Bicentennial.
Because they were that last wave of like
Bicentennial
really
Man, I can't
cheesy
say it.
sci-fi.
But that
Oh,
wasn't cheesy.
allergy
Bicentennial Man was like.
By new standards, it was cheesy.
All right, was it because?
Also, it was
that
long.
SJW before SJW started?
No,
Was like
it-
they're talking about like robot standards.
Around the turn of the century, a lot of sci-fi people started to get real like snobbish about if things were actually scientifically accurate or not, and those films just aren't. Bicentennial Man was panned just because of like the melodrama. I cry every time I see
Well,
that film.
and the
so.
other
Yeah,
movie
it's
that
sad.
came out close to that was AI.
I didn't watch AI.
AI is an interesting.
It's a weird.
It's a weird movie.
It's
It was supposed to be.
out there.
Um,
Jude Law.
What's his name? The director that he
as
did
Gigolo.
he did Full Metal Jacket, 2001: Space Odyssey.
Stanley Kubrick.
Stanley Kubrick. It was supposed to be his last film. He had written the script for it, but he died. So
Oh.
Steven Spielberg took over and finished the film for him. So it's really trippy, like a Kubrick film, but
it's
it's
like-
got that.
Like Mr. or is it Mr. Megorium's Wonder
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
it's,
Wait,
yeah.
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 Is it that?
It's-
yeah,
it's,
something like that. It's
yeah, but
really good.
No, like it wasn't the director who died though. It was Heath Ledger who died,
That was his
and then
last
they
movie.
added in a bunch of people,
Yeah.
and it got super trippy
Yeah.
when it wasn't that trippy. Of a
But it was
movie.
so cool. It kind of like went a whole
Yeah.
different direction.
But yeah, that was one. That was another film. And to get back to what I was
Mystery
trying, the
Report.
point I was trying to make.
Oh,
Perfect
sorry.
Storm was another one of those films. A lot of people, and at first I was like, okay, it's just a bunch of film snobs again. Here we go. But then I read into it, and it was the people that actually experienced, because it's based on a true story.
Yeah.
So like the people that actually experienced it, they said the film was like they didn't like it.
It wasn't true to the story.
Yeah,
It probably didn't do it
Oh,
justice. They feel like.
yeah, they felt like it was like just weird. Like,
Well,
it didn't
first
feel-
of all, Mark Wahlberg. You're putting in a heartthrob from that time. Anyone's gonna be pissed. They're just like,
Whoa,
well, that
whoa,
wasn't
whoa,
us.
whoa, whoa. No guy gave a crap that Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch bit the dust. Okay.
Well, no, but a whole bunch of women are like super all about him.
I don't think
Especially
he
during
was-
that time.
I
They were
hate
definitely.
Mark Wahlberg
I
and like
like
everything
him.
he's in.
What about the films that people think are really good that he's in?
Like The Fighter.
Yeah, like
Fighter's
The Fighter,
like the only good
um,
movie that he's in.
Oh,
Boogie
yes, they
Boogie
have.
Nights.
Boogie. No.
No.
That's a
No.
I liked him in Perfect Storm.
that movie is like one of the
I think it's one of his most sincere.
most critically successful films that
Here's
he's
one
ever
that's
done.
a horrible one. The
All I
Happening.
gotta say is that Marky Mark shouldn't have been acting in the goddamn first place. That's just my opinion.
About his brother.
Both of them should have just stayed out of the business.
You don't like NYPD Blue?
Well, I hate Baldwin
Or Blue
too,
Bloods, I
so
mean?
I don't understand the Baldwin love either.
Oh, really?
Okay,
I like
I-
Alec.
I like Alec. I do not like his blonde brother from
Nobody likes his. Oh yeah,
Flintstones.
that's.
He's a creep. He's weird.
I like Alec Baldwin in a lot
he
of
might
stuff
be a
he's
creep,
in.
but he looks really weird. Like,
All right,
creepy.
Alec might be the
I don't know.
only one that's ever been super talented out of the bunch of them, in my opinion.
Right.
But again, if Alec's the best you got,
The brothers.
you can keep them. It's
Yeah.
like give me back the Kennedys and take away the
The
Baldwins, or you could take away the
Wahlberg.
Funky Bunch too with
Oh,
Wahlbergs. Yeah,
gosh.
like I wouldn't mind either one of them. That's just me.
So what are your favorite disaster films of all time? Just
Just
one.
The End is like my favorite comedy disaster movie.
I mean, you gotta choose one.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's serious or based on a real story or anything.
Well, I could bounce across.
It's gotta be one.
multiple.
It's gotta be one. One that's in a general disaster genre.
Give me a moment.
Are we saying like our favorite, or are we saying like the best one in our
Your
opinion?
favorite, your personal favorite, which you consider the best if you had to decide.
That's a
Which
lot.
you have to
tougher.
right now.
That's a lot tougher.
I can say one that I liked as like a kid.
Yeah.
I liked The Day After Tomorrow.
I was gonna say that one actually.
It was a good one.
Yeah, if you asked me when I was like in middle school, I would have said that for
I
sure.
really liked that one back then. I haven't seen it
Well-
since then, actually.
It feels real.
It
Like
does.
Yeah.
watching it now, like some of it is like a little bit dated, so
Yeah.
it's like a little bit like oh. But at the time, I was like, wow, this film is intense.
It
Pretty
was
brutal.
scary.
Yeah.
It was scary. Now 2012 was
I haven't seen that one.
Was completely ridiculous.
Have you guys
Yeah.
watched? There's one on Netflix right now that sounds like this is the end, but I think it's How It Ends.
How it ends? Isn't
It
that
has
like
the guy from Insurgent that plays Four.
Oh
And it
yeah, he's like
has,
going after his girlfriend with her
yeah, and
dad
it
across the
ha-
country or
Oh
something. I
gosh,
didn't
Forrest
see it.
Whitaker. There we go.
Oh no. Oh no. I'm definitely not watching that one.
It was actually pretty good.
I did see
The ending
that,
kinda
and I
sucked,
saw
but it was
Forrest
good.
Whitaker on it, and was like, lies,
You don't like
deceptions.
you don't like Forrest Whitaker?
No,
I don't either, but
alright,
I like this
liked
movie.
him in some movies, but after, alright, so Rogue One, I was like,
Oh, I couldn't.
And
That's
then-
one of the reasons I don't like Rogue One.
but I love that movie other than his character
I don't like
because
her.
I
I
know
don't
like
how
the
bad,
actress.
like, really rad Saw Gerrera was too, and so like to make his character be that guy, it was like.
Just like why?
But at the same time, he comes back, and then in Black Panther,
Yeah, I liked
he's
him in
like-
Black Panther.
He's the same character as in
He
Rogue
is.
One.
He is literally the same character. It works a lot better in Black
Oh,
Panther.
yeah,
though.
it does.
You're the king. You're the king. I talk with a lot of air.
And he dies.
He's really good in The Last King of Scotland.
God.
And then he's in Armageddon, or not Armageddon, the Vietnam one with Armageddon in the title.
I remember.
Apocalypse
seeing him.
Now?
Apocalypse Now. Yeah,
That's
he's,
not Armageddon.
he's randomly in that. He's like 17 in that movie.
He was
It is
in
weird.
Yeah,
one of
and
the
he looks completely different.
Twilight Zones, like the newer
Oh, yeah.
editions of Twilight
The
Zones.
ones from the
Like-
late 80s, early 90s.
Oh, they're horrible.
They're bringing back Twilight Zone.
Which I'm
Jordan
stoked
Peele is
on.
producing. I'm like, yes.
Oh man, yeah.
We'll see how it turns out.
It'll probably be great.
But How It Ends is a pretty good disaster
Okay.
movie.
Alright.
If you want a Netflix.
What's yours, Eli?
My
watch.
favorite disaster film of all time is Deep Impact.
Nice.
That's not a bad movie.
It's not.
I don't think it's terrible. It's just that you put it up against Armageddon, and if you, with me, I would have picked Armageddon over that. But really, I would have said Day After Tomorrow, but you took that one, and I don't blame you for taking that one. So I kind of want to be different. and
Yeah, I
not
mean,
curve.
might as well.
And so I want to say that Dante's Peak would probably be my favorite.
I need
if
to
we're
see
gonna
that
do
now.
I like Dante's Peak because
Wonder if it's on
They,
Netflix.
No, it's not. But
No.
It is on Amazon, and you guys can buy it at the
I
link
have
below.
Prime.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're gonna have
Right on.
disaster movies available for you guys.
if I were to say what film is the best disaster film, like, and I would try to argue with other people, because like I could just say Deep Impact's my favorite one. I'm
Yeah.
not going to argue with anybody,
Right.
but I would probably argue this onto the top of any list, but like Tornado.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I think it was the pioneer.
I think Brittany would agree with you.
Yeah.
actually, if she was here. Right?
It's like I feel like it's the quintessential. It's
Yeah.
like Gone with the Wind. Like it's that kind of. It's like a pillar,
Okay.
especially in the disaster film genre. It wasn't the first. I think the first was probably.
Did you see San Andreas?
This is gonna totally.
I watched like half of it when I had like HBO for a minute for Game of Thrones, and I tried watching it, but I was like, I'm not a huge fan of The Rock. I'm not
Me
gonna say
either.
why, because it's really controversial, and I don't want to be like that. Well, I guess you want me to be like that, huh?
I don't mind.
He uses human growth hormone, and that's an illegal thing that it should be reserved only for kids with like muscular dystrophy.
I will say
and
this.
he'll literally buy it off the black market, and like there's this chick in my public speaking class in college that she did it on it, and it really convinced me that this guy is like not a good person for doing that.
But how did she figure that out? Just internet, or is there an actual like claim against him?
Yeah, this was a class where you had to have like when you made your arguments for the public speaking for your speech, you had to have like real evidence to
Oh.
back you up. I mean, don't take my word for it, but there was like she had a really good reason to believe it, and she really took it to heart. She wasn't just like a rock hater.
I don't
Paper
know
all
who
the
really
way.
hates
I'm
rock.
kidding.
Without
Yeah.
a mantle would be screwed.
But her
Oh my gosh.
her brother had muscular dystrophy,
Oh, that's
and
good.
so she was talking about how all these roid guys that get it off the black market, they drive the price up because they take a lot of it out. Like the people selling it on the black market are getting it from these like hospitals, like
Yeah, they're
illegally.
stealing it.
Yeah, they're stealing
Yeah.
it. So it's kind of not cool. And said that he wasn't doing it anymore.
Continue your conversation, rock hater.
So that's the reason. I just had less respect for him. A lot of people have so much respect for like I respect athletes that like earn it like correctly. Of course, I'm not gonna respect people that use steroids or human growth hormone, HGH.
Well, does he still use it, do you think? Or did he use it during was it wrestling? What'd he do?
He did it when he was a wrestler and during his the
There we go,
first part of
yeah.
his acting career. You know.
Well, and he was a
Because he's
former
slimmed
football
down.
player.
He has slimmed down and doesn't look
Yeah,
as crazy as he used to.
That when a bodybuilder is like super jacked, like they look unnatural.
Yeah, they're obviously using something.
They're most
crazy.
likely using HGH because it's the easiest thing to use.
And it's the most easy to disguise. It's just muscle building.
Well, and it's so bad for
Yeah,
you to
'cause it's
have
natural,
that,
like-
unless
Yeah.
you need it. But it's super bad. It can really backfire on you.
I guess
Well,
they only.
anything can
Yeah,
realistically. Like you
human-
do too much. Technically, I've heard. Well, to be you have too much water, you drown. So.
Well, I mean, like.
Anyways, yeah, to get away from. So yeah, that's our controversial topic for the week.
Okay.
Look it up. Don't take our word for it.
I like The Rock.
You can still like The Rock. It doesn't mean that you
Yeah.
dislike him right away, or like go
I-
on Twitter and.
Now
yeah, and
his
it's just
song,
the
You're
hype,
Welcome,
too.
sounds
You know.
really fucked up.
I don't
Shocking.
think.
You're
just-
welcome, kids with muscular dystrophy.
No.
That's fucked up.
Take it. You don't get to have your medication because a muscly man needs it more.
Oh, so messed
I mean, pretty
up.
much,
Oh,
pretty
now
much.
Yeah. Mixed feelings.
Alright. Speaking of muscle enhancement,
We're gonna take steroids
I
to
hate
improve
Vin
this
Diesel.
conversation right now.
I hate Vin Diesel.
You don't like Vin Diesel?
Is he on
hate-
steroids?
Just across the board, because I like
He
certain
looks
rock
like a
movies.
tough.
I like him with the Groot. As
Like,
Groot.
what about Iron Giant?
Vin
yeah.
Diesel?
Yeah.
He's
Iron
the
Giant?
Iron Giant.
The Iron Giant.
So when he does rolls that, he
Is
does
your
that
mind
to
just blown now? He just sounds.
He's like, wait, maybe I love Vin Diesel.
No, I'm just thinking about how hilarious the fact that Vin Diesel was sitting in a voice booth, talking the Iron Giant lines. Like, really?
Yeah,
Iron Giant?
I'm trying to think
Yeah.
of what else he's in that he's half
Like-
What does
decent
he
in.
say? He
Well,
says.
Fast and Furious, if you know, I do.
What about Saving
I live
Private
my life
Ryan?
1/4 of the mile
Is
at
he
a
in
time.
that?
Yeah, he's in it. He's in Saving Private Ryan.
What?
Yeah, like for not
There's
very
like
long.
30 actors in that movie. Like
Yeah, I haven't seen
people
that
talk
in a
about
while,
Black Hawk
obviously.
Down having like all the actors in it as a war film, but
No.
Saving Private Ryan was like nothing but cameos.
Yeah. Literally, the whole movie is nothing but other people, like tons of actors being filled in one
Yeah.
sequence.
Yeah.
It's Infinity War before Infinity War.
Somehow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Somehow.
I gotta get my. Oh, by the way, Avengers Assemble every
Okay,
week coming up soon.
I have a question for you guys. So, disaster movies. What do you think is the most disastrous as far as it tanked and everyone hated it?
I'm gonna go with 2012.
I haven't seen it, so I guess that's a good thing.
It did well financially though.
Because everyone
Well, but
believed
from
2012
the
was going to happen,
opinions.
right?
It was one of the first movies to take advantage of the Chinese film market, and so it did insanely well financially.
Well, it got backed by Graham Hancock originally, and that's who I've talked about before.
Oh boy. Disaster.
I'm gonna go with The Room Down the Hall. I think that was like one of the worst films of all time. Just kidding.
Now that's just what's going on at the end
Current.
of the hall. It's a disaster.
It's hard to tell. Like disaster movies tend to do really well because like even when they're really bad, people still
are
like.
still
I think
scared of
I
it.
think it's San Andreas. Actually, I haven't seen it, but remember it
Have
came
you?
out right when that Nepal earthquake happened. They had to change,
That's true.
and people
Have
were
you
just like, "I don't
seen-
want to see this. This is horrible. I just got to go on the news and I can see it for free."
Have you seen Geostorm?
Oh yeah, Geostorms.
I haven't seen it yet.
You know who really likes?
How'd you feel about it?
I haven't seen
We
it.
won't give any. Oh, you didn't?
No, but
Oh,
you know who?
never mind.
You should have watched 2012 instead of Geostorm. That sounds like that would have been the worst movie.
It's
Well, they had to. They basically
Weird and
rendered a bunch of
not as
CGI for it, all the disaster parts of it, without any of the acting, and they had to like film the acting later on, and they released it 2 years later when it was supposed to, because it was supposed to originally come out around Batman vs Superman. It was made by Warner Brothers, and they didn't want to compete, like the two movies to compete with each other, so they made it come out later, and then they were able to reshoot it, so it had actually like some actors in it.
I gotta say that's a good business move on their part because Batman vs Superman sucked anyway, so it wouldn't have made any more.
It might have made Geostorm like it might have made people go see Geostorm to be ironic.
No.
Just to be ironic, because like everyone's like Batman vs Superman is so bad. I'm gonna go see Geostorm instead, and
everybody-
that's actually better somehow.
Everybody hates Warner Brothers right now because of what they've done with DC movie universe.
Yeah,
Like, we all know that the MCU has done amazing, and then we got this like I don't know patchwork together. It's like DC did what Star Wars did, and Marvel just decided to create its own new brand. Basically, it's the way I look at it.
so the worst disaster film of all time is Batman vs Superman or Justice League.
Probably.
The biggest
category.
movie disaster.
Yeah, literally. Those should be in there. In that, they have to be considered.
Okay. I
Yeah.
have a weird question. Let's see if I can even Okay, I'm gonna ask you guys, what Disney film has a natural disaster in it?
Atlantis, technically the beginning of the film.
Atlantis, yeah.
Okay, I wasn't thinking
Dinosaur.
about that.
Dinosaur.
Dinosaur. Okay, I'm thinking of one that like a natural disaster that we see a lot, which is fires, which there's one right now in
Oh,
LA.
Bambi.
Yeah,
Bambi, like natural
And Fantasia
wildfire.
2000.
and
Yeah, that's true.
I'm pretty sure there's another one.
Man, I should compete in that Disney trivia. I'm like bopping these out of my head like it's
Yeah,
nothing.
Bambi is the one I was thinking of.
Bambi with fire for sure.
Yeah.
You're saying that there's another disaster movie you could think of?
I'm trying to think. I think I had another one.
Yeah, then
No, I can't remember. Oh yeah.
because there's
Bug's
two.
Life.
There's two natural disasters.
To them, it's a disaster.
That was
To us, it's like yeah.
doesn't count. Doesn't count.
I know.
Kidding.
Pixar was still owned by
Oh.
Steve Jobs at the time. Disney didn't own Pixar when
Okay.
Bug's Life came out.
True,
Right,
true.
I guess you could technically be like, because it is owned now, but at the time it wasn't.
It wasn't.
That's
yeah.
so crazy to think that like Pixar wasn't even under the Disney banner for
It was Apple technically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apple
That's
like
weird.
funded them to buy those super expensive computers.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they turn around and they're like, we got it on our own. You
Bye.
suckers."
Yeah.
Here, and I'll be super pro. There's actually a Disney film. I already mentioned it. It actually has two natural disasters in it. Fantasia 2000.
Yeah, it does.
There's the Noah's Ark sequence, and then there's the forest fire sequence.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's actually a lot of disasters in Disney films.
And
Weird.
one thing that we want to throw out here in this video, I know we've talked about movies for a while, but thank you, Stan Lee.
Yeah.
Rest in peace for pretty
I'm gonna-
much everything.
Here's the
entire
second
MCU.
controversial topic of the day.
Oh no.
Thank you, Jack Kirby.
True. But he already passed away too, so both of them now are gone.
Yeah.
The creators are
Yeah.
gone. Excelsior.
Hopefully now that he's gone and people don't feel like they're going to offend him, we can actually have that conversation about, I don't know, most serious comic book nerds that I know, like my friend Damien, you can't bring up Stan Lee without him getting really mad
Yeah.
about the amount of, just the credit that he took when he really wasn't.
Nah.
He is literally the Steve Jobs of the comic book universe.
Well, and he put himself in a lot of the movies, so that's like.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I still have a lot of respect for Stan.
Yeah.
I think I
He's
do
got
too.
a
He
lot
did
of-
create my favorite superhero. Like, he actually created it. It's not intended
Spider-Man?
credit. Yeah, Spider-Man.
Yeah. I was about to say, I was like, that's the only one I can really remember him.
So I'm curious what they're gonna do if they like scanned his body to be able to like Tarkin him into it.
So, Cushing, what's his name?
Peter Cushing,
Peter Cushing, yeah.
Tarkin.
Well, alright, so that's enough for this episode. We'll have another episode up sometime soon. Just a little bit of rambling from us today.
Right.
And we'll have another one
Little.
shortly.
Just a tad.
Hopefully we'll have Brittany in on the next one and we can have a full-on discussion with that. Thank you guys. I've been Jeremiah.
Jasmine.
Iski.
That's Eli.
Iski
Eli.
Ramanopolis.
The Book of Eli.
The Book of Oh
Disaster.
my god.
Iski
Disaster.
Ramanopolis.
Straight disaster.